Good day, ma'am. This is my video report po. Chapter 5. Tutuloy ko lang po yung report ni Mendebel na last topic niya. Doon po tayo sa historical experience. Historical experience such as the type and frequency of prior loss of events. Sabi po dyan is, ang kahalagahan po nito is upang mas mapadali po nating malaman kung ano ang mga nangyayari sa sa mga lumipas na araw or buwan. Example po is kung may CCTV po yung isang company or other reviewing device is mapapadali po nating malaman kung ano po yung mga nangyayari doon sa ating company. Or halimbawa naman po is kung may nakawan na nangyari, madali po natin ma-review yung ating CCTV footage kung meron pong naka-install nito sa ating facility. Number 5 is procedures and processes such as how the asset be used, stored, and secured. Dito po is yung tamang pagsunod sa proseso. Kaya nga po pag sinabing procedures and processes, kung yung isang company mo po is may procedures or processes na dapat sundin, dapat yung mga employee po is sinusunod po ito upang mas mapadali yung trabaho o walang maidulot na problema sa company. Number 6, criminal state of art, such as the type and effectiveness of tool of aggression. Dito naman po is, halimbawa po nito po yung ikaw po as may-ari po ng isang company, alam mo namang nalaman mong tumataas yung mga robbery case or robbery incident sa lugar ng company mo, is ma-alarma ka po nito or may dapat kang hakbang na gawin para maiwasan po yung ikaw naman yung mabiktima or yung company mo. Pwede mo pong gawin is yung i-inform mo yung security personnel mo na tumataas yung robbery incident, kaya mas dapat ay mas active po sila, lalo na sa time ng gabi. Dapat po is mas alerto po sila. Sa duwan po is risk assessment matrix. Risk assessment matrix is made in the form of simple table where the risks are grouped based on their likelihood and the extent of damage or the kind of consequences that the risk can result in. It provides the project team with a quick view of the risk and the priority with which is each of these risks needs to be handled. Sabi po dyan is yung risk assessment matrix po is yung igugrupo nyo po yung mga possible risk or mga nangyaring risk dun sa inyong company, para po kung ano man po yung lumabas na resulta, kung sino po yung mas mataas na rate dun sa mga risk na ginroup nyo or pinorm nyo, is maisipan nyo ng mapaplanuhan nyo ba or pag-usapan nyo yung pwedeng gawin or posibleng maging na makakatulong sa company nyo, para na sa ganun is wag na maranasan uli yung ganong klaseng risk. The risk based on two criteria. number one criteria po natin is likelihood, the probability of a risk. And the second one is consequences, the severity of the impact or the extent of damage caused by the risk. Likelihood of occurrence, based on the likelihood of the occurrence of a risk, the risk can be classified under one of the 5 categories. Definite a risk that is almost certain to show up during project execution. If you're looking at a percentage, a risk that is more than 80% likely to cause problem will fall under the category. Sabi po dyan, ang definite risk is percentage po nito is 80%. Kumbaga ito po yung pinakamataas sa category po ng likelihood of occurrence. Number 2 po is likely risk that have 60 to 80% chance of occurrence can be grouped as a likely. Yung likely risk naman po is pumapangalba po doon sa definite. Meron po itong percent na 60 to 80%. Number 3 is occasional risk which have a near 50-50 probability of occurrence. Occasional naman po is 50-50. And number 4 is seldom risk that have a low probability of occurrence but still cannot be ruled out completely. Number 5, unlikely, rare and exceptional risk which have a less than 10% chance of occurrence. Yung unlikely, rare and exceptional risk po is ito po yung may pinakamababang porsyento na na nakuha, which is yung 10%. Another topic po tayo, consequences. The consequences of a risk can again be ranked and classified into one of the 5 categories based on how severe the damage can be. Meron po tayo ditong 5 categories. Number 1 po is insignificant risk that will cause a near negligible amount of damage to the overall progress of the project. Sabi po dyan, yung insignificant po is kung yung damage sa isang establishment or facility o company mo is hindi naman makakaapekto o maabala yung operasyon or pagtatrabaho ng mga empleyado, it is tatawagin po itong insignificant risk. Marginal risk will result in some damage but the extent of damage is not too significant and is not likely to make much of difference to the overall progress of project. Sa marginal naman po is kung nagresulta na ang establishment mo or facility mo ng sum of damage, merong mangilang-ilang nasira, pero dire-diretso pa rin po yung operation po or pagtatrabaho po ng mga employee, tatawagin po natin itong marginal risk. Moderate risk, which do not impose a great threat but yet as seizable damage can be classified as moderate. Sa moderate naman po, kung bahagya naman po natagalan yung pagsasaayos po ng isang facility or ng establishment, is tatawagin po itong moderate. Tapos po kung yung operation po ng company is bahagya rin pong apektuhan, is considered as a moderate risk. Number 4, critical risk, with significantly large consequences which can lead to a great amount of loss are classified as critical. Sabi po sa critical is kapag malaki po yung damage sa inyong establishment or facility at medyo malaki yung nagastos nyo bago mapaayos ito, tatawagin po nitong critical risk. Catastrophic risk. These are the risks which can make the project completely unproductive and unfruitful and must be a top priority during risk management. Diyan naman po sa catastrophic is kung yung facility nyo is hindi na makapag-operasyon or kailangan na ng isaayos o ipagawa ulit o wala na inaipo-produce na produkto, tatawagin po itong catastrophic. Yung catastrophic po is, ang ano po niyan, Tagalog po niyan is mga sakuna. Ibig sabihin kung yung catastrophic is dumaan sa establishment mo or kung naranasan ng lugar, sasabihin po, kaya po sinasabing unproductive yung nagiba ng tuluyan, kaya kailangan nating ipaayos uli. And then sabi po dyan is ito po yung top priority. Kumbaga ito yung nangungunang kailangan ng matinding pagpaplano ng isang risk management. Using the risk assessment matrix. When the risks have been placed in the matrix and cells corresponding to the appropriate likelihood and consequences, it becomes clear as to which risk must be handled at what priority. Each of the risks placed in the table will fall under one of the categories for which different colors have been used. The sample and risk assessment template provide with this article. Tamang paggamit naman po nung sinasabi po dito sa using the risk assessment matrix is yung tamang paggamit po ng mga kulay or i-rate po or mark. Here's some of details of each of the categories. Extreme. The risks that fall in the cells marked with letter E and color of red color are the risks that are most critical and that must be addressed on a high priority basis. The project team should gear up for immediate action so as to eliminate the risk completely. Diyan po sa extreme po is ito po yung pinaka-critical ang damage o sabi nga mas kailangan ng priority, kailangan agad ng plano o paano may aayos yung isang establishment or yung na-damage na facility mo. Number 2 po is high risk, denoted with H with a pink background in the risk assessment template. Also call for immediate action or risk management strategies. Here, in addition to thinking about eliminating the risk, substitution strategies may also work well if these issues cannot be resolved immediately. Strike timelines must be established to ensure that these issues get resolved before the great hurdles in the progress. Yung high risk naman po is i-mark po natin to ng letter H and ang color po nito is letter pink. And sabi po dyan is kailangan din po dyan ng immediate action to resolve the problem and pagplanuhan din po yung mga posible pang mangyaring risk. Number 3. Number 3 po is medium risk. If a risk fall in one of the orange cells marked as M, it is be, it is best to take some reasonable step and develop risk management strategies in time. Even to there is no hurry to have such risks sorted out early. Such risks do not require extensive resources, rather they can be handled with smart thinking and logical planning. Dito naman po sa medium risk is denoted po siya as letter M, and ang kulay po nito is orange. Tapos po dyan is kailangan po ng mga logical planning, kumbaga yung mga shortcut na plano kung paano agad-agarang ma-resolve para hindi na lumala yung problema. Number 4 is low risk. The risks that fall in the green cells marked with letter L can be ignored as they usually do not pose any significant problem. However, still, if some reasonable step can help in fighting this risk, such steps should be taken to improve overall performance of the project. Ito naman po yung pinakamababa, yung low risk. Ang kulay po nito is green, and mark po nito is letter L. Sabi po dyan, ito po yung risk na nagsasabi doon sa insignificant. Kumbaga ito yung mga risk na dinanas ng isang company or establishment na hindi naman nakaapekto. Risk reduction and mitigation. Risk reduction is identifying way to eliminate risk, while risk mitigation is identifying ways to execute a strategy with less risk. Risk mitigation implies that you are proceeding with an activity but want to find ways to make a less risky. With risk reduction includes the possibility that you avoid an activity altogether because it's too risky. Risk reduction encompasses both risk mitigation and risk avoidance. Sabi po dyan is yung risk reduction po is alamin kung makakaapekto ito sa operasyon o makakaabala ito sa trabaho ng mga employee. While risk mitigation naman po is yung paraan na i-apply po natin sa mga risk upang maiwasan po natin ito, at doon po sa mga possible risk na darating pa sa isang organization or company. The goal of most security program is to reduce risk. Risk mitigation is accomplished by decreasing the threat level by eliminating or intercepting the adversary before they attack, blocking opportunities through enhanced security, or reducing the consequences if an attack should occur. Dito po is ang goal naman po ng risk reduction and mitigation is yung alisin yung mga dapat yung mga magiging problema or alisin yung mga nakikitang problema upang mabawasan po yung yung magiging epekto nito or magiging panganib sa employee if ever man na mangyari yung risk. Risk reduction and mitigation strategies includes contingency planning, hazard prevention, likelihood reduction, risk avoidance, risk transfer, risk spreading, risk transfer, risk acceptance. But the best strategy for mitigating risk is the combination of all the elements of decreasing threat, blocking opportunities, and reducing consequences. Risk reduction and mitigation component. A logical mitigation strategy ties asset to threats and vulnerabilities to identify risk. Solution for the identified risk typically enhance 3 phases of security policies, procedures, and training, physical, electronic security system, and security personnel. Diyan po sabi po dyan sa risk reduction and mitigation is i-enhance po yung mga security policies, procedure, and training, physical and electronic. Dito po sa electronic, pasok yung mga CCTV. Ibig sabihin po is i-improve ba natin yung CCTV, mga electronic device na naka-install sa ating facility, like alarm system. Tapos kasama na rin po dito yung security personnel, o kumbaga kung nangangailangan man ng karagdagang security personnel yung isang company o yung facility, is dagdagan para nasa gayon ay yung risk is ma-mitigate. Number 1, threat assessment. Threat assessments is a logical process used to determine likelihood of adverse event impacting your assets and to validate security levels. It utilizes a number of different data resources to assess real, perceived, and conceptual threats. Dito naman po sa threat assessment is kailangan pagtuunan ng pansin to determine kung yung security level ba ng iyong company is makakatulong or hindi. In short, it is selecting the probability in feedback to your company. Number 2, vulnerability assessment. A vulnerability assessment, sometimes referred to as a security vulnerability assessment, is the analysis of security weaknesses and the opportunities. The fundamental methods for assessing for vulnerabilities is the security survey, which is a tool for collecting information about the facility. The goal of a vulnerability assessment is to identify the block opportunities for attack against assets by effectively blocking opportunities. Security decision makers can mitigate threats and reduce risk. Sabi po diyan sa vulnerability assessment, dito kailangan pong malaman yung o pag-aralin yung mga kahinaan ng iyong security, and kung need ba nitong yung company is ng karagdagang security. Halimbawa po is kung yung nakikita mo doon sa security personnel, sa security measure mo is na sa gabi is nagkukulang sila, na hindi nila na iikot na ng maganda yung kanilang area, kumbaga titingin ka rin sa mga security personnel mo kung nagagampanan ba nila, o tama ba na ganun lang yung function nila, yung ginagalawan nila, o nirurubing nila, pinupuntahan nila. Kung nakikita mo naman po na may kulang, pwede naman po na itong dagdagan to po para po mas magkaroon ng fear, yung psychological fear, yung mga intruders, to para hindi po sila makapasok dun sa iyong facilities. Number 3, crime prevention through environmental design, CPTED. Since there are no two facilities that are exactly alike, a customized security survey to identify each facility can be made during a vulnerability assessment, include assessment of compliance with crime prevention through environmental design, CPTED. CPTED is the security concept that attempts to influence offender decision that perceive criminal acts through elements of built environment. Dito naman po sa crime prevention through environmental design, ito po yung sabi po dyan, kung iyong facilities is wala namang proper barrier, you need to use a unique strategy. Example, dagdagan po yung mga security personnel, and use blocking system like alarm system, CCTV footage, and cooperate by local law enforcement agencies. Maaari ka pong maki-cooperate doon upang yung iyong facility is mabigyan nila ng oras. Risk monitoring and control. Risk monitoring and control is required in order to ensure the execution of the risk plans and evaluate their effectiveness in reducing risk. It keeps track of the identified risks, including the watch list. It monitors trigger condition for contingencies, and monitor residual risks, and identify new risks arising during project execution. It also updates the organizational process asset. Diyan po sa risk monitoring is papasok yung tamang pagpaplano to proper execution of security, at kung ano yung maitutulong to reduce the risk. We have purpose of risk monitoring. A risk response have been implemented plan. Risk response action are as effective as accepted, or if new responses should be developed. Project assumption are still valid. Risk exposure has changed from its prior state with analysis of trends. Letter D. A risk trigger has occurred. Letter E, proper policies and procedures are followed. Letter D, new risks have occurred that were not previously identified. Yan sa po yung purpose po ng risk monitoring. Yung risk response have been implemented by plan. Ito naman dito po is yung sabi ko nga, ito yung tamang pagpaplano. Risk response action are effective expected if the new responses. Dito naman po sa letter B is yung magiging resulta po, yung action po ng isang, halimbawa po ng isang security personnel. 'Di ba po nagdaan tayo sa implemented plan. Dito sa letter B po is kung ano yung magiging resulta at yung kung ano yung pagbabago na maidudulot nito sa ating company. Tapos po dun sa letter C is project assumption are still valid. Risk exposure has changed from its prior state with analysis trend. Dito is dapat po yung magiging action po natin is may pagbabago from its prior state. Kumbaga kung yung dati nating strategy is ano lang yung sa security personnel is lumibot lang, dapat naman po kung mag-execute naman po ng panibagong plano is magiging effective naman po ito sa company or sa seguridad ng facilities. Tapos po sa letter A, proper policies and procedure are followed. O diyan po sa letter E is madali lang naman po, is yung tamang policies and procedure are followed. Yung mga policies po natin is dapat is masusunod lagi. Letter F, new risks have occurred that were not previously identified. Diyan naman po sa letter F is yung mga posible pong mangyari na risk is mapaghandaan po natin at dapat po malaman natin para if ever man na dumating yung risk na yung maranasan natin yung risk ng isang organization or company natin, is handa tayo. Yun lang po, ma'am.